Here's a fun fact about NYC. Murder is up 55% this year. Sorry, that's not a fun fact. That's a terrifying fact, especially if you live in New York or are a tourist, of which we get 60 million yearly. From the start of 2019, there's been 48 killings, almost one per day. Last year at this time, there were 31. Thankfully, Mayor Bill de Blasio, a.k.a. Captain Lurch, is here, announcing all public schools will be going meatless on Mondays. I bet this is important on so many levels.
This is important on so many levels, but I gotta say, if you're thinking about our kids individually, we want them to be as healthy as they can be, and we want them to learn as well as they can learn. And Meatless Mondays will help. It'll create more balance in their lives. We're talking about our climate, the existential threat of global warming. This is something we do. That's another contribution to addressing global warming, to striking more of a balance in our whole society.
So cutting back on meat will help save the planet. So would eliminating the cross-country tour he plans to take, pumping his far-left tripe. But when things aren't going too well at home, best to run away. Between the crime and his own scandals, I'd leave too. Yeah, in case you missed it, the mayor shoveled nearly $900 million into his wife's mental health initiative. That's nuts, since we've still yet to figure out where the money went. If you take the subway, you know it's not mental health, and that's criminal. Fact is, the city we actually love needs help, but it's run by left-wing Democrats, so the mentally ill are left to languish because the left has made it acceptable to languish. Meanwhile, crime creeps back up, while Amazon and 25,000 jobs flee. Only in New York is it cool to embrace ideologies that kill jobs, if not people. The good news, Lurch is only mayor of New York. The bad news, he's headed your way, bearing tofu. You know, I'm going to go to the vegetarian first. Jesse? No, you know what? I don't understand. I always thought that cafeterias were always meatless because that wasn't meat.
That was mystery meat.
It was mystery meat.
Yeah.
It was like weird stuff. I don't think animals exist to create that meat.
No.
No, come on. They have good food at school.
Ooh, somebody's sponsored by Big Meat.
That's right.
Oh, big cattle.
Big cattle.
The Wyoming lady over here.
Big cattle, absolutely.
I want him to be the mayor, not our lunch lady. This city is a mess. You can't drive anywhere. They've lost 25,000 jobs with Amazon. He can't even handle a snowstorm. People are leaving for lower taxes. Stay out of our food choices, Mr. Mayor. This is a publicity stunt. If kids have pasta on Monday, it's not going to reduce the Earth's temperature. You pointed out.
Or their body weight.
Right. If he cuts back on the private jet flights, that would reduce more emissions. The only thing he's worried about is cows getting murdered, not people getting murdered. The whole thing is a joke. Kids need protein. Yeah. They're going to have cereal for breakfast. They're going to have lentils for lunch. And then the student athletes are supposed to go out and perform, go to the weight room, hit the court. These kids are going to pass out. I mean, even the speech team is going to pass out, Dan.
The speech team. They'll be speechless without the meat. They'll be meatless and speechless. All right, Dagan, you're the actual vegan here. I will say this, that, like, you can get fat as a vegetarian because it's carbohydrates, not protein. Oh. But I know that he's making an environmental claim.
Yeah, tater tots and French fries are what they're going to get.
Yes.
What they're going to get.
Yeah.
One thing, he would never do this, but make your meatless Fridays, and then that would help Catholics who don't eat any meat on Friday. But you know what? That steaming sack of cooked cabbage would never, ever do that because, again, it would be religious in some way, shape, or form. And number two, if he's worried about saving Mother Earth, make the subways run. Let people avoid getting in their cars and get on the subways and not get their faces cut or pushed in front of a moving train. And it shouldn't take 2.5 hours to get 60 miles from Connecticut into New York City. He's got his priorities misplaced. He's worrying about people, well, having a damned hamburger.
You know, Dana, I actually want all my tax money to go to mental health. I think that's like, I can't think of anything more important.
But if it actually went there.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, that's what bugs me about this is that I tried to look and find out where all this money went. So that means that money, that's almost a double crime.
So the announcement about the $900 million into the mental health was on the same week that they announced that the mayor had $773 million for a renewal project for schools, also deemed a failure. Like, that's that money down the drain. And also, well, lentils is protein, but Kids need protein in
I know,
order to
but
think.
is lentil, that's not going to fill you up.
Yes,
Lentils.
It's not going to fill up.
Let's see some varsity football players eat lentil soup for lunch and get out in the field.
There are now a bunch of NFL and NBA players who don't eat meat, and so I don't think that's.
They don't win championships.
Oh yes, they do. But I just apart from the bashing of Bill de Blasio, which I think is unfair. Crime in this town, you should know, is down 8% this year, and most of these murders we're talking about gang-related in one section, North Brooklyn. But
they don't matter? That's kind of racist, Juan.
I love playing along when the Five bashes people unnecessarily. I guess they think de Blasio
Thank God you don't bash anybody.
is a liberal, so they're just going after de Blasio. But I will say this.
There is a pothole as big as a refrigerator in front of my apartment building.
Fine.
I have every right to be PO'd about that.
You should go to Detroit and Baltimore and check out some other cities. This city has
we're better than Detroit. Is that your argument?
No.
They're all run by liberals.
My argument is this. This town is attracting more young people, more people
Not
moving
from Amazon.
in, ratings are going up, and jobs are going
Everything's
up.
great.
This town is a boom town. But anyway, my key point is the health of these kids. I think what de Blasio is saying about climate change is ridiculous. But I think when it comes to saying to kids, hey, you're being pushed hamburgers on you, hot dogs, take a day break from eating meat, that's a good idea.
He's not any of these students' daddy. That's the problem.
He's the mayor. He can make this call. That's why you're arguing
He's
about
the Mayor McCheese. The anti-Mayor McCheese.
We live in a really nightmare. We live in a really nightmare.